And we are back with former Atlanta Falcons Chris Draft and Patty Watkins, and we're going to look at just all of the issues with lung cancer on Public Affairs on Peach right now. And Chris, we're going to talk a little bit more, though, about your foundation right now and a big challenge you have coming up.
So our Lung Cancer Survivors Super Bowl Challenge, which essentially allows our survivors, instead of just doing a walk and run in your particular city, but we've said, hey, create that walk and run, but do it in your particular city, but then whoever raises the most money will go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And the Super Bowl is here in Atlanta. You know, for people who don't know, it is in the ATL. It is in the ATL. And so essentially what we want our survivors, you saw it, we've gone around the cities all over. And if we look at 32 cities as it relates to the NFL, our ideal is for someone in every one of those cities to stand up for their particular city and raise for their cancer center in that city.
Wow.
So
how much are we talking? I'm looking at everybody in some of your pictures.
Well,
you've done it before.
We've done it before. Last year, the winners both raised. We actually had two winners. They both raised over $50,000.
Wow.
And again, ideally, when it's done the right way, it could be more than that. But we're saying stand up for your city. We know that anyone can get it. We saw Patty. You know, it's not about fighting for yourself. It's about fighting for the people in your city and recognizing that if it can happen to Patty, if it can happen to my wife, it can happen to anyone. And so research is not about that individual, but it's really about making that city better, making that cancer center better, because we know it's great to have research, but it's important to have access. So it's great that things happen in other cities, but you know, if I'm biased towards Atlanta, I want to make sure we have all the things that are the top. So if something happens, we can get treated here.
Patty, what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I'm participating in the Super Bowl Challenge this year, as I have for the last 3 years. And it's exciting. I've got a couple functions coming up that are fundraisers that are going to be targeted for lung cancer research. And I'm hoping to have a seat at the Super Bowl.
What a great idea.
But what she didn't tell you is the American Cancer Society is who she's raising for and working with. And when they stand up and they say that research matters, because so much of American Cancer Society has been about prevention.
That's right.
It's been about the Great American Smokeout, and unfortunately, that's just not enough.
Making strides against breast cancer, they are when they stand up.
When they stand up and they say it. So we're saying that this will be the first time that you don't just hear them say prevention. They're gonna recognize that early detection and treatment and research matter, and they're gonna say that by standing with Patty Watkins.
Oh my goodness. And that's not all you're doing. Team Draft has a lot of other things going on. A character team, talk about that.
So in terms of Chris Draft Family Foundation, we have our character team, we had our asthma team, our Get Checked and Get Fit initiative, and so much of those are about empowering families to live healthy lifestyles, really about the prevention side before getting to any issue that's going on in your life. If we have strong character, if we have an awareness of our bodies physically and mentally, strong relationships with our community, regardless of what happens, we're going to be able to fight it.
Now everybody looks at Chris as big, you know, tackler, strong, but you really, while you were playing, you battled asthma, is that right?
Absolutely.
What did you know, any scares, anything that frightened you while you were playing?
Well, that was the hardest thing for me. I mean, you know, depending on the day, I'm looking out at the fires going on in California. You know, I grew up out there, and I'm thinking I would have had to tell my coach right now, I'm not playing. Right. You know, because it just wouldn't have happened. So the hardest part for me, as they talk about the game and what's difficult, hardest part was having asthma. You know, I don't know if I let you know, the day we laid my wife to rest was December 31st, 2011. I was over checking on the flowers earlier that day, and somebody was smoking, and ended up having to go to the emergency room. Almost missed the funeral because I was there, couldn't breathe. And that's been, while I was playing, the hardest thing to be able to deal with. So football is already difficult. It's already tough, but it was an extra reminder of take advantage of today, appreciate today, fight for today, because there's no telling what's going to happen with tomorrow.
Chris, I'm telling you, Patty, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We are running out of time, but we're going to tell people how they can get a hold of you. Be sure to join us for another edition of Public Affairs on Peach. We'll be back next Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. And for any information about Chris Draft and his foundation, check us out on our app, CBS 46 News app. Have a great Sunday.